Hey y'all, this is a spur of the moment thing. I'm just getting off work and I'm walking back to my car. Sometimes I do this for exercise. I take a walk. I park my car along like a couple of miles away from work and then I walk along a fairly scenic route to get there. And today it's taking me past two cemeteries. One is the Texas State. Hey there. If I miss your chat, it's because I'm trying not to get killed by the cars as I walk along. Anyway, it's taking me past two cemeteries today. One is right here next to me. This is the Texas State Cemetery in Austin, Texas. And it looks like there's actually some people taking a walk through there. It looks like maybe a high school group. There are a lot of famous Texans buried in this cemetery right next to me. It is a gorgeous cemetery. And I want to show you some of the stuff that's in here. And then later on the walk, if I continue that far, there's another old cemetery. That is, what's up, Mike? That is another, just a really old cemetery, like 1850s kind of stuff. Oh no, this isn't hipster glasses. These are like freebie Top Golf glasses. Oh God, hold on. I just knocked my earphone down. Why does that hurt so bad when you do that? Anyway, it's a gorgeous warm day here in Austin. And I thought, what the heck, let's do a little live stream in the middle of the day. Has nothing to do with shaving. See if anybody's watching. And I'm going to turn it around pretty soon so you don't have to look at me. You'll be looking at, how's the sound from these headphones? Does it sound okay? I mean, my voice. There is no sound for me. I can't hear you. And like I said, if I miss the chat, it's because I'm focusing on something else. What's up, Brian? I'm taking a walk to the Austin State Cemetery. Texas State Cemetery, sorry. Okay, good. Thank you, Mike. I need you guys for my technical crew. Back me up. All right. I'm going to turn the camera around now and then we'll walk through the cemetery here. Let me see. There we go, the Texas State Cemetery. So this is like a little visitor center area. Administration building. And then some historical stuff in there. Hey, what's going on? PKJ 77. Yeah, there is a little tour group up there. Right up there, a little high school group. But look at this. Look how gorgeous this place is. It's right in the middle of Austin. And it's gorgeous. Hey, Alex. And I'm going to walk around and show you some of the more notable. Yeah, sunny and warm here. It's probably almost 80 degrees. So it's not too hot. Copenhagen. How are you doing? Welcome from Austin, Texas. So yeah, there's some famous people here. I won't tell you who they are until we see their graves. Some historic figures and some more modern people that have passed away and are buried in this cemetery. This is a place where like judges, governors are buried. Denmark. Very cool. I bet it's a lot colder there in Denmark than it is here. And there's a little group there learning about the historic figures who were buried here. Sweden, my goodness, everybody in Sweden and Denmark. The first place I'm going to take you is right up here. It's a memorial to the September 11th attacks in New York City. This is, hey JR, thanks again for sending me all that stuff. Now look at this. This is a memorial, and right in the middle there, those two things are pieces of steel from the World Trade Center that they have, sent all over the world to make memorials. And these are two of the pieces of the World Trade Center. You can see them, how damaged they are and bent. And it shows the timeline of that day of the events from 8:45 a.m. all the way through when the towers fell and everything was done. And everything else terrible that happened on that day. So that's the first thing. Off there in the distance, I'll show you that in a minute, but right out there is a bunch of the Civil War dead, the American Civil War. But first, we're going to cross over here. Yeah, I remember that day very well. Terrible day for the whole world. Egypt, my goodness. Hi, Egypt. I was about to go to work when I turned on the TV early. I actually woke up a little early and turned on the TV, and it had just happened, like maybe a minute or two before, so no one quite knew what was going on. But anyway, so if anyone's seen the movie American Sniper, about Chris Kyle, I think it was starring, oh gosh, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, he was a decorated sniper, and he eventually was killed by a soldier that he was trying to help. They had gone to the shooting range, and he was doing therapy for PTSD. And the soldier turned on Chris Kyle and killed him, and this is where he's buried. Yeah, Bradley Cooper, that's right. Bradley Cooper played this gentleman here. I was about to say it's sad, but I mean, I'm in a cemetery, so of course it's going to be sad. But he was a young guy. He was born in 1974. All right, so there's Chris Kyle. Let's go to, right over here. If you're a fan of college football, as everyone seems to be in Texas, we've got the University of Texas football coach Darrell Royal buried right here. I'm in the Texas State Cemetery in Austin, Texas, where many dignitaries, former politicians, governors, history makers are buried, and I'm walking from work back to my car, and I was walking past here, and I thought I'd do a live stream because this is a beautiful cemetery. There's the Texas flag flying. It's a beautiful, sunny, warm day, and this is a beautiful resting place for many people throughout history of Austin and Texas and things like that. So there's a football coach right there, and there's another football coach buried just up here. And amongst them, oh, here's a fellow. Willie James El Diablo Wells. He was a baseball player, played in the Negro Leagues in the 1920s to the 1940s. He was inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, 1997. So he was a baseball player in the Negro Leagues that they used to have here in the States, back before baseball was integrated. All right, so there are a couple of Texas governors buried here, including one connected to the JFK assassination. We're walking through the Texas State Cemetery. If you see here, you see this one right here is shaped like the Alamo, and this one is shaped like the San Jacinto Monument. So two very Texas reminiscent headstone shapes. And we're walking up the hill, and eventually at the very top is Stephen F. Austin himself, who was one of the early settlers of Texas in the 1830s. There's some really beautiful headstones. Look at this one. It's etched to show a scene of some deer and a cow and a farm. There's someone from the House of Representatives. Lots of judges. There's Judge Howard Tigert. I don't know most of the people that are buried here, but there are some. Okay, coming up straight ahead is another very famous football coach. If you're ever a fan of the Dallas Cowboys football team, then you will know this person right away. A former coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, buried here. He was famous for wearing that fedora that you see pictured on his tombstone. Passed away 18 years ago. So Tom Landry, the former coach of the Dallas Cowboys, here amongst the many luminaries of the Texas State Cemetery. And he was in the Air Force during World War II. So they do a separate thing. So you got the main headstone, and then if they were in the armed services, they will also put one of these plaques down. That's right, Brian. The cup of life is finite. Enjoy every drop. Now, as I said, there was a person over here, former governor, who was connected to the JFK assassination, and that is John Connally. He was riding in the limousine directly in front of President Kennedy and was also shot by an assassin's bullet. He was not killed. He was gravely wounded, but survived his injuries, and he passed away 30 years after that. So John Connally, governor, who was directly in front of JFK in the limousine during the assassination, and that's where he's buried now, and his wife, Nellie. John and Nellie Connally. He was governor of the state of Texas from 1963 to 1969. You got some more. There's Governor and Mrs. Preston Smith over there. You got Jake Pickle, who was a statesman, politician. Got a big, beautiful monument there, erected to his memory by his brother, but the name isn't on this side, so I can't tell. And speaking of influential leaders in Congress, there's Barbara Jordan's grave right there. Barbara Jordan, eloquent champion of ethics and justice. We the people salute you. So I don't know if you remember her from your history books, Barbara Jordan. And here, there's another school group here. That monument is Stephen F. Austin himself, the man for whom this city is named. He helped settle Texas in the 1830s. And he's buried right here at the very top of the hill. All right, let's go down the hill, away from school group who's learning about Stephen F. Austin. Walking amongst the gravestones here. We're going to head down to the field where many Civil War soldiers are buried. J. Frank Dobie here was a historian and writer, Texan. Storyteller of the Southwest. Presidential Medal of Freedom winner. All right, here's an Attorney General. There's this grave right here is the first woman governor of Texas, Miriam Ferguson. They called her Ma Ferguson. She was the first woman governor of Texas. And since we've only had one other, and I believe she's buried here as well, if I could find her. I think she's down there. Oh, there she is. So there's the first female governor there, and then just down almost the same row, down here is Ann Richards, who was only the second female governor of Texas. There she is. She actually spoke at my college graduation, Ann Richards. That's a cool headstone. Look at that thing. It's like a strange amorphous shape. Next to her is one of my favorite writers, Bud Shrake, who was a sports writer, but also wrote one of my favorite novels called The Borderlands, which was about Texas, actually about Austin specifically in the 1830s. Bud Shrake, mostly a sports writer, and look, this has got to be my favorite inscription on a tombstone. So far, so bueno. I love that. So far, so good. And you got Larry King, also a writer, right next to him. Hi, India. India, we got India watching. Live streaming from the heart of Texas. And now we're in the Texas State Cemetery in the heart of Austin, Texas. And we're heading over to, first, a Civil War general, who you can see in the center distance. Albert Sidney Johnston, who was a Confederate general who died in battle. I believe it was at Shiloh, one of the major bloody battles of the Civil War. I smell coffee in the air because there's a coffee roaster nearby and it smells of burning coffee beans. But this is, so in the distance here next to Albert Sidney Johnston and over there, there we go, there along there. This is called Confederate Field. Confederate soldiers were buried in the cemetery during the Civil War. Most of the burials in Confederate Field, however, date from 1889 and are Confederate veterans, their widows, and other women who helped the Confederate cause. Texas fought on both sides of the Civil War. While there were few battles on Texas soil or in Texas waters, the Battle of Palmito Ranch near Brownsville was the last land encounter of the 4-Year War. So the last battle of the Civil War took place in Texas, down along the coast. And this is Albert Sidney Johnston. Yeah, he was killed at the Battle of Shiloh in April of 1862. Yeah. Yeah, keep drinking that scotch and keep shaving and join me for these non sequitur history walks that I might start doing. You never know. The only reason I knew that much about that Civil War is because I was reading that. But here's Albert Sidney Johnston buried here in the sculpture in marble of how he looked when he fell on the battlefield. I know, generally about the Civil War, but not very specifically. When I say warm, how hot is that? Well, I only know the Fahrenheit, so it's probably 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So warm, but not oppressively hot. And there's a breeze, there's a nice breeze. And there's a survivor of the Alamo, Susanna Dickinson. I won't go back, but she's up there. So she was one of the women that was spared at the Battle of the Alamo, where all the men were, except for a couple of the slaves, were killed. But Susanna Dickinson is buried up there. So let's go down into Confederate Field and see some of the soldiers. Now, these days it seems when you start talking about the Civil War or the Confederacy or that kind of stuff, people tend to get up in arms about things and saying, if you talk about the Confederacy, there you go, 27 degrees Celsius, that you're somehow racist and that they were fighting to keep slavery. But if you think about it, these guys that are all buried here, these Confederate veterans that died, were just poor farmers and workmen who joined up because they thought they were doing the right thing. None of them had slaves. I guarantee you none of these guys owned slaves. And probably didn't even know anyone that owned slaves. Slavery is terrible, and it's good that it was abolished. But don't hold it against these Confederate war dead who were just fighting for their own homes and what they thought they believed in. South Australia, shout out, how you doing? I hear a lot of people say that Central Texas reminds them of Australia. I've had an Australian tell me that. So if you ever visit here, you'll feel right at home. It's kind of that scrubby, rough land. So this is Confederate Field. I'm walking amongst many soldiers and veterans of the Civil War. So imagine what it must have been like to live back then in the 1850s, 1860s. No decent running water, no indoor plumbing, no air conditioning, No prepackaged foods unless you lived maybe in a big city and went to a restaurant. You're wearing hot wool clothes all the time, fighting for your next meal, hoping you can keep your family clothed and fed. And then this giant war starts up and you got to be a part of it. And they did, they joined. Some of them probably didn't want to. Some of them were probably drafted into it. Some of them probably didn't have the... No shaving right now. This is a little history walk. It just so happened I was walking. This is the Texas State Cemetery. They're mowing right now. But yeah, so this is a non sequitur live stream. Has nothing to do with shaving. But I guess all my live streams don't have anything to do with shaving. I thought I'd just take you guys around and show you what I'm seeing. The only thing that lives in this cemetery is the grass, and they got to keep it cut. The hardworking men who work here. Many, many graves here in this Confederate field that I'm walking. Sorry, my alarm went off. And yeah, so this is the, if you're just joining me, the Texas State Cemetery in Austin, Texas. Many, many historical figures and luminaries buried here. Go have some vodka in that warm and muggy India. Is it Anay? Is that how you pronounce it? Anay? Southern California, it's 40 degrees Celsius all the time. And so, there you go. Hey guys, quit talking in Celsius. I can't do the math in my head when I'm walking around. So if you put a Celsius reading, also put the Fahrenheit. Because I'm not good with the maths, especially when I'm live streaming. So yeah, the Texas State Cemetery, a beautiful patch of land here in the middle of Austin, Texas. Here's a memorial to the U.S. events of World War II, victory in Europe, victory over Japan. The Nine Men of Praha. 9 men of Praha, a rural community in Fayette County, Texas, died in service for their country during World War II between February of 44 and February of 45. So imagine that. So 9 men from one tiny town, back when tiny towns really were tiny, you know. You knew everybody in town, and then 9 of your guys died in 1 year. That's the cost of war, guys and gals. War is hell. Sometimes you gotta fight to be a man. You ever hear that Kenny Rogers song? Coward of the County. Vietnam War Memorial Monument. We're crossing over the high cost, exactly. There's another judge over there, state representative. Someone whose last name is Fondren, which is a major street in Houston, Texas. Have you ever seen that? Member of Texas House of Representatives. Thomas Jonathan Jackson Jr. Looks like he was a fighter pilot. Nay, okay. Ha ha, I got it right. All right, so we're walking just to prove that we're in Texas. Hey there, Dark. To prove we're in Texas, you get a lot of headstones shaped like Texas. Ashworth, Glenn Monroe, he's still alive. Now that creeps me out. I would not want to go to a cemetery and see my name and birth date on a headstone, because it's like, I'm just waiting for you. It's just waiting for you, isn't it? I mean, the grave awaits us all, yes, but I don't want to see stone proof of it. Anyway. And once again, the World Trade Center memorial with the 2 pieces of steel from the Twin Towers. One of the most solemn pieces in this cemetery. I remember I brought my little kid here to show him that one 9/11. Yeah, dark redux. A lot of people do that. A lot of people put a put their names on a tombstone before they die to like reserve their spot. I don't mean to laugh in a cemetery, but you know. So far, so bueno. Craft distilleries? Oh yeah, there are. A couple of them, a few around town. This is a beautiful one. Look at this. It's got glass. Joseph Damian Pryor, Texas State artist. Love changes everything. Death is not the end. There you go. So you got to have a good attitude about death. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's a piece of art. You think he sculpted it himself? That's another level of being okay with death, sculpting your own tombstone. Jack Reeves Miller, he just died last year. He looks like he was a state representative. Yes, if you ever want to visit a city in Texas, I would recommend visiting San Antonio and Austin. Oh, look at this. This is a sailor from the Belle shipwreck. Died in 1686. Buried here are the remains of a 17th century sailor who was a member of an ill-fated French expedition to the New World led by Robert Cavelier, Sieur de la Salle. Texas Historical Commission archaeologists discovered the skeleton in 1996 during excavations of the La Salle ship, the Belle, which sank in 1686. Wow. So when this sailor was born in 1640, whatever, did you ever imagine he'd be on a live stream? Oh, it's so weird. Time and technology is so strange. So here's one parting shot from the Texas State Cemetery as I head out and I head over to where my car is parked. Yes, the Astros did beat the Dodgers. Oh no, is the gate closed? Oh, I can't, normally that gate's open. Okay, I'm gonna have to go out the main entrance. There's also a gate up there at the corner, but it's definitely closed because last time I walked through here, it was locked up. Okay, normally you can walk through that gate. See, there's a beautiful kind of driveway through here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut across the grass, even though it doesn't say you can't. Got this lush St. Augustine grass that we have here in Texas that requires a ton of water. Oh boy, if those guys, you know that first video of mine, or one of the first ones where I'm shaving every day with a safety razor and I left the water running, it was the only one I ever did that. I still hear about that. Weekly talk show, huh? Well, you never know. You never know. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. Texas, baby. I'm a 6th generation Texan. So my family's been here since the 1830s. Actually fought in the Battle of San Jacinto and served in the House of Representatives. Rob, I have a radio voice. Well, I am. That's what my job is, not in radio, but voiceovers in general. Yeah, you remember all those comments on that first video? I still hear about it. I still get grief. Hi, Lou. Is it Lucy? Like Louisiana? So we're leaving the Texas State Cemetery and we're heading up Navasota Street. Should I turn the camera on myself, or do you just want to see what I'm looking at? You want to get the Sinatra eye view? Where do you live in the UK, Dark Redux? Can I call you Dark? Can I call you DR? Can I call you Dr. Dark? Lewis, gotcha. Anything I'm working on now, voiceover-wise? Let's see, nothing right now. I did some recordings for Verizon. Is it only me, or do you cringe when you hear your voice on voiceover? Oh no, I'm so used to it. Can we go to Disneyland? Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World. No, I'm so used, excuse me. I'm so used to hearing my voice. I've been recording myself since I was a little kid. So I don't, there I am. Sweating, I'm sweating. I forgot to put on suntan lotion. Normally I do this when I do this walk, because I normally walk for 45 minutes to an hour. Oops, sorry. They're doing some construction here. But I forgot to today, so I hope my giant forehead doesn't get burnt. So we're here at 11th and Navasota. Liverpool, oh my gosh. Did you know that I'm an enormous Beatles fan and I've been to Liverpool a few times? Yes, I have. I have walked the Liverpool docks before. I've gotten drunk in the Cavern Club on too much cider. I've slept in the Adelphi Hotel and have a terrible hangover the next day. Went down and had a chip butty, a chip bussy, and that helped out a lot. All those carbs. Grease, carbs, and butter. I mean, how could you not love that? How did an American not come up with the chip butty? And you guys that don't know what a chip butty is, it's a sandwich that just has butter and French fries in it. How great is that? So yes, I've been to Liverpool. I love it. And you should get to Texas sometime. It's a whole different vibe, that's for sure. So this is kind of a hipster area, East Austin. Let me turn the camera around. So we got lots of food trailers. There's Juana Taco. You know you wanna taco. Get it? There's the Quickie Picky at the corner of 11th and Navasota. So if you're ever in town, you can get some good craft beer in there. I've been to Canada. I've been to Ottawa once, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was like a college town and had that beautiful river and the hills. I absolutely loved it. Where's the button? I gotta press the button. Hold on. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat right now because I'm trying to not get run over and while I cross this street. So there's some new construction there. Those buildings are new, but you see that thing? You see that tower right there? That's called a moon tower. And that was the first artificial lighting in Austin back in the 1890s, I believe it was put up. So it was the first artificial lighting in town. They put them all over town, and there's still a bunch of them here. Still all in working order. Let me turn you back around here until I see something interesting. Pardon the angle. I'm not going to do one of those selfie things like that. That would look weird. Now, I wish I didn't have... oh, look at this car. Wait. Look at this. Look at this beautiful Bonneville. It's a convertible. Look at that baby. That thing is 90 feet long. I love these old cars. My grandpa used to sell Pontiacs in San Antonio. Pontiac Bonneville. Look at the inside of that sucker. Look at that. Gorgeous. Look at that. So yeah, you're talking about Mexican food. Yeah, we definitely are the purveyors of Tex-Mex here in Texas. Lots of grease, lots of cheese, lots of guacamole. Not light like the American Southwest. Oh, look at this. Look at this view. Hold on. You can just see it in the distance. See that? It's the Capitol. Just off in the distance. The dome of the pink granite Capitol. Now we're walking through a nice old neighborhood. And when I say old, in Texas, 1830 is old. Now, in Europe, you know, the Romans are old. Oh, Nay, thank you for the 40, what is that? Is that rupees? In the super chat? I don't think I've ever had a super chat before. I just noticed that thing was even a thing. Super chat. Well, thank you, Nay. Next time I have a live stream and I'm at a bar, does 40 rupees buy anything? I don't know. Once again, I'm not good with the maths. Oh, so I was saying old here in Texas is not really old when you think about the rest of the world. But here, if something was from 1890, we're like, wow, that's incredible. I just stopped talking when we walked past that fella. Rupees, a little less than $1. Hey, I'll take it. There's an old house. There's a dog barking in the background. So the next place we're going is another cemetery, not to be morbid. 40 rupees per $1. There you go. There you go. There's someone that's a big fan of the Texas Rangers. If you like the Rangers. What do I think of cigars from the Dominican Republic? You know, I enjoy a good cigar every now and then. I'm not a big cigar smoker because it always leaves terrible taste in my mouth the next day, but I do like it at the right time, you know, with a glass of whiskey. I love it. But I don't have a preference of any kind. I was down in San Antonio back before I had kids. Yes, I like the pipe when it's cool outside. For some reason, I don't smoke it in the summertime. It's just too hot, you know. Yes, this will repeat if you are just now joining me. I took a tour of the Texas State Cemetery with lots of dignitaries buried there, famous, non-famous, soldiers from the Civil War, all the way up to football coaches and governors of Texas, and Stephen F. Austin himself. So yes, I'll post it and you can watch the whole beginning if you just joined. You saw a dead body. Yes, you did. You saw a sculpture of a dead body. Crown Royal. Let's see. Crown Royal is great. Love to see it. Cool. Yeah, I'll take any scotch. Crown Royal is not my first pick. My first pick for a blended scotch is Famous Grouse. You know, just like a daily drinking scotch. And if they don't have Famous Grouse, which most in the States don't, you can get Dewar's. I'm not a big fan of Johnny Walker Black. It's a little too smoky. I don't like the real peaty scotches. But then when you talk single malts, Macallan is fantastic. Balvenie is great. But like I said in the last video, I've been dieting for the past month or so, so I haven't been drinking or eating anything fun like nachos, and that's why I'm walking, you see, and sweating my rear end off. Here's a mid-century modern building. It's kind of falling into disrepair, but it was the Colored Teachers State Association of Texas building, back when, you know, using the term colored was kind of the norm. It is no longer, of course. The Colored Teachers State Association of Texas building, built in the early 60s. Sorry, I'm missing some chats here as I show you around. So we're going to be crossing 12th Street here in a minute, and I parked next to the Oakwood Cemetery, which is the old cemetery in Austin. Riverside, California, how you doing? We got folks from Finland and I think Denmark, Australia, Liverpool. Everybody's joining us. It's great. So fun. Anyone seen the new Deadpool? Whether it's cold and wet here in the Netherlands, yeah. Sorry if I go silent every now and then. It's because I'm walking past people. I don't want them to think I'm a lunatic, filming myself for no reason. I'm actually talking. I'm talking to some friends on my miniature TV here. All right, so we're crossing 12th Street. Not much to look at, but they are doing some building. They're constantly building here in Austin now. They're tearing down old things, putting up new ones, for better or for worse. A lot of times for worse, but everyone seems to want to move here, so you got to live somewhere. Kind of free trip to Texas, even if it's not the same as being there in person. Yeah, that's right. That's a little vicarious trip to Texas if you've never been here before. This is a typical May day. Winter is definitely over and summer is knocking on the door. It's getting hot, but it's not too hot yet. Let's see. Is it true, Texas, you can buy a mansion and a huge plot of land for the price of an apartment in LA? Yes. That's why everyone from LA is moving here. Because there are outrageous prices here in Austin now, because so many Californians who are used, and Brooklynites, who are used to paying exorbitant amounts, can come here and like cash in. So I hope that doesn't give you any ideas. You shouldn't move here. Oh, why not? Everybody else is. Let's have a party. But if you come to live in Austin, bring some of your own culture with you, but also enjoy the culture of Texas, because it's got its own, you know, distinctive flavor. That's for dang sure. Of all the states in the United States, Texas has got to be one of the strongest flavors. And we're certainly one of the most proud states, much to the chagrin of other states who get sick of hearing about it. But we're proud. We can't help it. I'm as proud as the next Texan. Oh boy, it's getting hot now. I've been walking for, what, 45 minutes or so, almost to the cemetery. So, Oakwood Cemetery is the oldest one in Austin, and it's, like, if you think of, it's a beautiful cemetery because it's got lots of live oak trees in it. But if you think of creepy old cemeteries, that's what this looks like. And I want to show you the one grave. Now, I do this walk a couple of times a week where I'll park over here because there's free parking, then I'll walk to work for my exercise. Because I quit the gym and I said, I'm just going to walk for my exercise and lift hand weights, build up those guns. I'm not going to do anything crazy. But, so I walk through this cemetery and I look through it. Sometimes I just walk right through, and sometimes I peruse the different ones. What do you think about e-cigarettes? I have no thought about vaping. But, and I don't do it myself. I never smoked, luckily. My wife did, my mom did, my brother did. My dad didn't. I never got it, luckily. I just got the overeating gene. That's my vice. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around here. So this is the Oakwood Cemetery. And so sometimes I'll walk through here. There's an alleyway behind it. How hot is it there? It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 27 Celsius, depending on where you are. Did I cut out carbs? No, calories, just calories. Before we go in, we'll discuss this. Yeah, I keep to about 1,400 calories a day. Eat whatever you want, as long as you eat something, just don't eat garbage. And you'll be all right. And then exercise. Burn more than you take in. That's the key. So the Oakwood Cemetery is full of very old graves, all the way back to the 1840s. Do I believe in ghosts? I don't know. I'm open to it. I'm open to the idea. Some say the cemetery is haunted. I've never seen any evidence of it. But look, I'll show you this wall is very high. See, I'm 5'11", so my head is, I'm going to turn around. So my head is right here, so that means there's people buried right in there. Yeah, if you see any ghosts around, just don't let me know, okay? So right there is underground. It's a pretty high wall. But anyway, so the Oakwood Cemetery, lots of old graves. I don't think anybody necessarily famous like in the Texas State Cemetery. But I want to show you the one grave that always makes me the most melancholy. You'll see why in a minute. But there's some lovely neighborhoods in between this cemetery and I-35. Very expensive homes. Some new construction where they've torn down smaller, older homes. I got these glasses for free. My kids did from Topgolf. Look at that. You know what Topgolf is? Like a driving range, a fancy driving range. So I lost my other cheap sunglasses. So these are my cheap neon. Purely, not for looks at all, purely for function. Because I lost my other ones, I think at the pool the other day. My other cheap sunglasses. These are the kind of the rubbery kind, I'd love to buy some Ray-Bans, but I don't want to spend $150 on them and then lose them promptly. Now, before we go into the cemetery, I want to show you this old building here. It is an old gravestone carving and creation building. It's derelict now. It's not in business anymore. But they would bring the raw stone in here. And they would then see, here's some raw headstone stone, grave marker stone, just laying here. And actually this one has a name on it, W.C. Bain, 1867 and 1930. And they would carve the names and dates, and right across the street, you installed them when your loved one passed away. So Driscoll and, this is it right up there, Driscoll and, I can't read it, it's so faded. Driscoll and Moore Monuments. So they made, here's some bunch of other old chunks of granite people would have used before it went out of business. Like I said, it's derelict. I will not go inside because you never know who might be in there. And then out front for advertising, they had how your headstones could look if you went to this monument company, and now they're just kind of all in these overgrown weeds. This is not the cemetery. There's no one buried here. This is just the monument company that would have. As I'm walking here, I'm getting caught in all these little weeds. Okay, across the street, Oakwood Cemetery, and then back to my car. So this cemetery was established in 1839. It is on the National Register. It's a National Registered Historic Property, and they're doing some work on that little building right there. That's like the chapel where you would have services for your loved one. And here's the grave of George Washington Glasscock. He was a business partner with Abraham Lincoln in a riverboat business. And then Glasscock County in Texas and Georgetown, the city in Texas, were both named after him. He and his wife, Cynthia. Okay, so we're gonna walk. See, this one's a little bit more stereotypical of an old American cemetery. So this person died in 1865, so right at the end of the Civil War. Susan, oh, listen to this. In memory of Susan A., who was a consort of J. Mercer Hill. Wait a minute, so he doesn't even give her, wait. So this is just the girlfriend of the guy? In memory of Susan A., who was a consort of J. Mercer Hill. She was 43 years old. Interesting. Doesn't even give her a last name, just that he was the guy's girlfriend. Oh, things were different back then. Here's some, good night. Have a good one. Here, there's a destroyed little kind of a crypt, I believe they call these. This Henry S. Price, oh my gosh. He was only a year old. I hate these. I hate seeing the kids' ones. 1868, but still. Poor little Henry. Oh man, here's another one. Now, vandals have been known to come into the cemetery and knock over monuments and things. I don't know if that's what happened here, but it looks pretty destroyed. But there are a lot of bushes growing through that could have helped the destruction of that thing. I'm walking on a little wall here. So I'm going to take you up to the grave. Like I said, that always makes me melancholy. But this is a beautiful, in its way, it's like a rugged, old Texas cemetery. I know it's kind of weird to see, this isn't like a cemetery channel. I just happened to be walking back to my car, and I am fascinated by history, and all these people were part of that history, you know, the hoi polloi, if you will. I learned that years ago that hoi polloi doesn't mean like the hoity-toity people, it just meant the everyman, the everywoman. Hoi polloi just means everybody. Hello from Ireland. Yeah, and don't go to the gym, just walk. Walk, find a beautiful place to walk and do it, and lift, you know, buy some cheap hand weights. Because really, I mean, you don't need to get buff, just stay slightly toned, I guess. Anyway, these people, the only exercise they got was hard labor, manual labor, just their lives were hard. Okay, so here's the one that always makes me melancholy. Matilda Rust, wife of Bird Holland, who died July 4th, 1858. So there's her husband, Bird Holland, and this is Matilda. But this little sad portion of this is there's a little sculpture, and it's her holding an infant. Can you see the baby right here? So it says, "Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord," but the part that makes me so sad is this little carving right here. It says, "Is it well with thee, Maddie?" Her name is Matilda. "Is it well with thee, Maddie? Is it well with thy babe? All is well." So I guess she died in childbirth, and the infant along with her. Long, long time ago, 1858. So that's the one that gets me. I visit that one from time to time. Look at this one. This is really This one's really a heavy-duty kind of granite. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Yes, we'll meet beyond the river. This is Dora Dietrich, who died in 1881. 1881. Long, long, long dead. Most of these are about that age. Very old, very old. And there's another, I mean, there's a bunch of sad ones in this. There's a lot of children, unfortunately, like here. There's just a 4-day-old, an infant daughter. And this is all the same family. 4 infant daughters. Oh my God. 1 year, 5 months, infant daughter. I mean, this is all the same family. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 7 children that died in this family. How do you bear that? In this 1848, they died, 1848, 1851, 1853. My God, I shouldn't do this to myself or to you guys. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is covered in seashells. Look at that. And they're all kind of broken and weathered away, but seashells. I don't know if you can see the name on it or not. That's my shadow. This is M. Julia, wife of M.R. Reagan and daughter of M.F. Rainey. Died in 1861. She was 26 years old. Interesting shells, though. Large shells they put on top with concrete underneath them. Yeah, a lot of sad ones in this one. A lot of children. You know, when you have kids, I don't know if you're like me, are there any places in Austin you can get a straight razor shave? Yes, there are. There's like Finley's Barbershop, a couple of, you know, with the advent of kind of the hipster culture, as annoying as that can be sometimes to an old guy like me, they also have an appreciation for things of the past, like things from the 19th century, like their crazy handlebar mustaches and their Civil War beards. But they also get into things like straight razor shaves and, you know, classic cocktails made with really good ingredients and good whiskeys. So there are some good things that the hipsters have brought to our town. You can find just about anything. Can you hear the birds? I don't know how well because I got my headphones in and it's using the microphone. Up there in the live oak tree. Texas, Central Texas has tons of these live oak trees and they stay green all year long. They never lose their leaves, even in the dead of winter. But this is the Oakwood Cemetery, and we're almost at the end of our little live stream here because we're getting close to my car, which is parked just alongside. I got, oh my God. I gotta show you guys the sticker burrs on my legs. When I walk through that little monument, I've got these black, like, workout sweatpant things on. Look at that. Sticker burrs. Sticker burrs. Oops. Wait, hold on. Sticker burrs, sticker burrs, sticker burrs. I gotta pick all these off. Look at that. Sticker burrs. Do you have sticker burrs in Denmark, in India? Because we got them here, man. Look at that. Anyway. Oh, it's getting hot. All right, y'all. Put on my cheap sunglasses. And I guess I'll sign off because my car is just up ahead. But thanks for joining me on this little thing. Got a lot of those in Denmark. Oh, good. Yeah, I guess it's universal. But yeah, this was interesting. I'm glad some of you joined me, and you can watch the replay. It'll post itself. And go back and watch. Take care. Yeah, take care, you too. Rod, take care, everybody all around the world. It's just incredible. I can hold this little thing in my hand, and yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me. I can hold this little piece of technology and talk to people, you know, live in Australia and Finland and India, Ireland, California, Canada, Fort Worth. Go Fort Worth. I like Fort Worth. Have a good day, y'all. And yeah, so these live streams are just stream of consciousness, not about shaving, just about whatever's interesting me on that day. Glad I reached the stream. See you on the next one. Once I get back to drinking the whiskey, I'll have another live stream. And yeah, so have a good day, y'all. Hope you're enjoying your your Thursday, wherever you are in the world. And we'll talk again soon. Goodbye from Austin, Texas, and the Oakwood Cemetery. Now, how do you turn this thing off?